Okay, today we're looking at Made for TV, and we start with a song. Yeah, Christ calling, come on to me, come on to me, come on to me. Yeah, Christ calling, come on to me, I will give you rest. Okay, optics is a big thing in the world that we live in. People are very concerned about, impression, about image, you know. And so you see a lot of emphasis on made for TV moments. But if you look at it from a spiritual lens, you can actually have clashes between optics and spirituality. I know people want to look good on TV, they want to look good on social media, and that's why you see people creating images that do not reflect reality. In fact, sometimes when you meet them eventually, you begin to compare notes between what you've seen on social media and what this person really is, or what you've seen on TV and the reality on the ground. And it becomes very problematic. In fact, optics from a spiritual perspective is more of a hypocrisy or Pharisee thing. You see this in Matthew chapter 6, verse 5. And when you pray, you shall not be like the hypocrites. For they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the corners of the streets, that they may be seen of men. Surely I say unto you, they have their reward. But when you pray, go into your room, and when you have shut your door, pray to your Father who is in the secret place, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. So this is the problem with optics, because we want to be seen, we want to create the right impression. And so you can have that kind of a clash in spirituality, because you want to show that you're very spiritual, and it becomes like a made for TV, kind of moment. Of course, I'm using prayer as a starting point. There's a lot more to this than just prayer, because of course, what you find with prayer is that it might involve a lot of exertion, sometimes physical exertion. And you see this Christ himself living out the words that he spoke, Mark chapter 1, verse 35. And in the morning, rising up a great while before day, he went out and departed into a solitary place and then prayed. So he was praying in secret, in a solitary place. And God would then answer, in the open. And of course, the exertion that I was talking about, particularly when you look at when it was about to go on the cross, Luke 22, verse 44, and being in agony, he prayed more earnestly. Then his sweat became like great drops of blood falling down to the ground. Because sometimes we have lots of issues in our mind and we want to unburden ourselves to God. It's not a made for TV moment. In fact, it doesn't look pretty when you pray those kinds of prayers. When you really need to unburden your soul, you really need God to come through for you. And so that's why you have that kind of a clash with spirituality. But of course, it's not just in terms of prayer. There are other ways in which you can have those kinds of clashes. For instance, if you look at charitable works, take heed, Matthew 6, verse 1, that's what the Lord was saying, that you do not do your charitable deeds before men to be seen of them. Otherwise, you have no reward from your Father in heaven. Therefore, when you do charitable deeds, do not sound a trumpet before you. I know people have said this, particularly in social media. If you want to give or you want to help out the less, you don't need to bring cameras there. You don't need to post it on social media. Even when it comes to fasting, I know there's a particular religious group. They say this very openly. I'm fasting. Because I'm fasting, I'm not able to do this. But for us as believers, you keep it to yourself. You don't go announcing that you are fasting. You see this in Matthew 6, verse 16. Moreover, when you fast, do not be like hypocrites with a sad countenance, for they disfigure their faces that they may appear to men to be fasting. They already have their reward. But when you fast, don't even give the impression that you are fasting. Go about your various activities. It is between you and God. So sometimes this fixation with optics can actually have a huge clash with spirituality. And let's avoid this, trying to create an impression that we are spiritual, because it is really between us and God. I mean, that doesn't mean that we should not profess our faith, or we should not, tell people about our faith and try to encourage them to make a commitment to the Lord. But it's not about creating this impression, that does not reflect spirituality. That is the area that we need to avoid, so that we do not make nonsense of the teachings from the scriptures.